I chased after Ethan for 8 years. Others said that the adopted daughter of the He family would eventually marry into the family as a daughter-in-law. Later, a girl appeared by his side, and he began to neglect me repeatedly, looking down on me. Finally, for her sake, he sent me to prison. When I came out of prison, he said, "Liana, you've been spoiled for too long. Has this year taught you a lesson?" I looked at him calmly. "The lesson is etched in my bones, brother. I wish you and your wife a long and lasting relationship." But why did that lofty man suddenly have red eyes? I stood at the prison gate, looking at the streets outside, the trees lining both sides, feeling a sense of being in another world. "What are you standing there for? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? Hurry up and get in the car." From inside the car, Ethan urged in a deep voice. I didn't look at his expression and carefully got into the car. The mud on my feet rubbed onto the carpet inside. Heat sked, and I quickly pulled my feet in. The car stopped at the He family's old residence. I took out a tissue, knelt down, and tried to clean the stains I had made on the carpet. Ethan stopped me. "What are you showing off now? Picking you up once, I definitely need to wash the car to get rid of the bad luck. What can that lousy paper of yours wipe off? Hurry up and get out, I have things to do." I didn't dare say more, grabbed my things, and went back to my room. My adoptive parents weren't home, only the servant followed silently behind. I opened my former bedroom and found that the room had already changed beyond recognition. My bedroom had been converted into an exhibition room, filled with paintings everywhere. It seemed they were all works by Ethan's fiancée, Monica. The servant smiled apologetically and carefully led me to the guest room in the house. After showering, I looked through the wardrobe. It was full of my old clothes. The styles were well-tailored, colorful, showing how flamboyant the owner's personality once was. I chose a light-colored sportswear that I rarely wore before. Low-key, comfortable, lightweight. While thinking about how to tell my adoptive parents about leaving later, the old butler came and said the young master had called, asking me to go to a place. He didn't tell me where, just helped open the car door. The car drove to a familiar address, Ethan's villa. In the past, I would come here almost every day. "Please walk faster, miss," the young master said, not to be late and delay the opening. I gritted my teeth and ran a few steps quickly. The soft fabric rubbed against the wounds on my body. It was much better than the rough prison uniform, but it still hurt. In the hall, soothing music was playing, glasses clinking, everyone smiling. "Hey, isn't that Liana? Why does she feel different? Why is she back today? She's not here to cause trouble, is she? It's Monica's birthday, she wouldn't, right? Think about how arrogant she was before, why not? There might be a good show today." People whispered, but their voices all reached my ears. "Liana, why are you here?" Ethan held a wine glass, saw me, his face full of displeasure. At first, I didn't think today was Monica's birthday, and later I didn't know why Ethan had someone bring me here and asked me that. So, I remained silent. I invited her. Today is a happy day, let Liana share in the joy too. After all, staying in prison for so long, the bad luck seeps into the bones. The onlookers gasped. Someone said, "Didn't Liana go abroad to study? How did she end up in prison?" Monica quickly covered her mouth, annoyed, saying it's her fault for speaking so fast. Ethan comforted her. "Some people are indiscreet themselves. If she did it, why can't others say it?" I looked at the intimate pair and found it utterly boring. "Yes, I didn't go to study abroad, I was in prison for a year." Monica said I intentionally hurt her, and the household servant testified. With witnesses and evidence complete, I went in. "And today is the day I got out of prison," I narrated calmly without glancing at Ethan. He sneered. "Now, do you know you're not worthy of me? In the future, don't do anything to hurt Monica again." I sincerely gazed into his eyes. "Young Master Ethan, I'm sorry. In the past, I was young and ignorant, always clinging to you. From now on, I won't entangle you anymore. I also sincerely wish you and Monica 100 years of harmony." Ethan's face suddenly changed. What trick are you playing now? I extended my finger, swearing to heaven, if any word I just said is false, may I die a horrible death. Ethan stared at my face, trying to spot my flaw. Monica quickly blocked between us. Before she could speak, Ethan raised his wine glass and filled it. Although you refuse to repent and admit intentionally hurting Monica, Monica is kind. As long as you drink this glass of wine, I'll persuade her to forgive you, and we'll wipe the slate clean. I looked at the nearly overflowing wine glass, thinking, I'm allergic to alcohol, drinking this would send me to the hospital immediately, but it probably wouldn't cost my life. To draw a clear line with them from now on, it was worth the gamble. I took the wine glass and unhesitatingly brought it to my mouth. Enough. I had drunk more than half when Ethan knocked it over. It seems you still haven't realized your mistake. Get out, don't be an eyesore in front of me. When I walked back to the He family, it was already midnight. At the banquet, after they mocked me, they dispersed. Staying there was meaningless anyway, so I found the driver and asked him to take me home first. The driver hesitated for a long time, saying he didn't know if the young master would need the car later and didn't dare make the decision himself. I borrowed his phone and called Ethan repeatedly, but no one answered. Not wanting to trouble others, I decided to walk back myself. I don't know if it was timely induced vomiting or my body becoming stronger from hard labor, but besides breaking out in rashes all over, I surprisingly didn't go into shock. The wounds on my feet were rubbed raw and painful. I stumbled along, the road home seeming endless. Who could have imagined that the once pampered adopted daughter of the He family now couldn't even afford a ride? In the past, whenever I went out, my adoptive parents would personally instruct the driver. Even Ethan, who didn't like me, would coldly tell the driver to get me home safely. When did things start to change? Probably after Monica returned from abroad. She began to frequent the He family, buying thoughtful gifts for my adoptive father, accompanying my adoptive mother shopping. She became more like family with them than I was. At first, they patiently said, Liana, don't throw a tantrum, isn't it good to have an extra sister to accompany you? Gradually, it turned into, why are you so unreasonable? At such a young age, you can't tolerate others, you've really been spoiled rotten. Finally, I saw Monica coquettishly holding Ethan's arm. He lowered his head to kiss her. They kissed passionately, entwined, like lovers who had finally reunited after many hardships. In a rage, I slapped Monica, but was pushed to the ground by Ethan. I thought my adoptive parents would stand up for me, because when I first came to the He family, they said they had an oral agreement with my parents to form a marriage alliance in the future. Even though they were gone, the He family had the obligation and responsibility to raise me and be my backing. How ridiculous, over a decade of comfortable life in the He family made me forget that my surname is Lee, not He, and that emotions are the least trustworthy things. Now, whether in family background or emotions, Monica matches Ethan better. Ethan neither confirmed nor denied. In those past years, I thought he was always different towards me. Although others mocked me as a little tail, following him wherever he went. But I knew he would arrange for someone to stew soup for me when I was sick. When others teased me about changing targets, he said I was still young and not to talk nonsense in front of me. When he was drunk and I secretly kissed his forehead, he pretended to be asleep. I thought we would eventually end up together, get married, and have children. But he said, you are the daughter of the Lee family, although I dislike your arrogant personality, I had no choice. I didn't deny it before because I pitied you being lonely and orphaned, with the marriage alliance identity, no one would look down on you. Our He family has raised you for over a decade and has long fulfilled the promise, my marriage and life are free. You hit my fiancée, please apologize to her. Monica nestled in his arms, crying pitifully. Ethan, Liana might not accept it for a while, you. Why are you still speaking for her? Ethan tenderly wiped her tears. Monica was shedding tears, but my heart was bleeding. I refused to apologize and turned to leave. So, later when Monica said I intentionally hurt her, Ethan said I was unrepentant and must be punished. My adoptive parents didn't speak up for me either. their love for me was genuine, but on the scale between the He family and their biological son, I had no chance. By the time I realized this, I had become someone with nothing behind me, locked in a women's prison. As I grew weaker, covered in cold sweat, I saw the warm light leaking from the He family's windows. The gate was closed. I knocked for a long time with no response. My throat was hoarse, almost unable to shout. In the end, I couldn't hold on and fainted. I don't know how long passed. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the living room sofa. My adoptive father looked serious, scolding me for being unreasonable. "What are you trying to prove? Don't you know to call and notify the driver to pick you up? Your mother and I waited until midnight, you're still not letting us worry less. It's all because you spoiled her too much, look at her now, she's ruined." He had said this before. When everyone said to send me to prison for reform, only my adoptive mother hesitated. "How long are you going to pamper her? Spoiling a child is like killing them." Over these years, if you had established a mother's authority, she wouldn't have grown so audacious. Ethan sneered, "Now we're giving her a small punishment as a big warning. If she doesn't learn, she'll dare to kill next. Besides, Monica was hurt by her, affecting her hearing. We have to give the Sue family an explanation." My adoptive mother was finally convinced and relented. Now, she sat on the edge of the sofa, stroking my hair. "To know one's error and change is the greatest good. Liana, you can't have suffered this year in vain. You must understand our good intentions, be a good person. Don't trouble Monica anymore, she's engaged to Ethan, so from now on, treat Ethan as your own brother." Listening to her voice, I couldn't hold back anymore, curled up my body, and whimpered softly. Mother's hand touched my shoulder, I couldn't help but flinch, and she was stunned. Adoptive father flung his hand and went back to the room, adoptive mother sighed and followed him. This day was too tiring, I don't know when I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already bright. I quickly got up, wanting to go back to the guest room to wash and change. I happened to meet Monica coming in. Slap, a hard slap across my face. "This is payback. Look at what you are now, Ethan would only lose his appetite seeing you. You don't know, after you left yesterday, he had the servants disinfect the house inside and out. You dirty thing, how do you have the face to live?" Monica was always like this, baring her fangs at me when no one was around. "Look, what is this?" She extended her right hand, on her middle finger was a sparkling diamond ring. "Ethan gave me this as a birthday gift yesterday. I heard your 18th birthday wish was for him to give you a diamond ring." Monica laughed arrogantly. I didn't want to argue with her anymore, I just wanted to avoid them quickly and start my own life anew. "Monica, whether you believe it or not, I'll say it again, I don't love Ethan anymore. Not even a little bit, so rest assured, I won't entangle him again. He's yours, from now on, he has nothing to do with me. Do you believe that yourself?" A familiar voice came from the door. I didn't turn back. Right and wrong will be judged fairly, saying more is meaningless, we'll see in the future. "Liana, stop and make it clear." I didn't answer and went back to the room on my own. Monica had already raised a sweet smile, coquettishly asking Ethan to have breakfast with her. Only when I saw Ethan's car drive away from the window did I go downstairs. Ethan came back to the old residence almost every day. At those times, I didn't even leave my room. After a few days of preparation, I finally mustered the courage to find my adoptive parents and tell them I wanted to leave the He family. I said thank you for raising me these years, now that I'm an adult, I have to start my own life. Adoptive mother looked at me sadly and asked what my plans were. I said I planned to open a dessert shop. Adoptive father sighed and said it's fine. They gave me a sum of money, which they had fought for from the Lee family after my parents passed away. I started riding my bike through the city's streets and alleys, hoping to find a suitable storefront. When I turned into a mall's dining area, I unexpectedly ran into Ethan and Monica on a date. I quickly ran into a store to hide, thinking to wait until they passed before going out. Unexpectedly, Ethan saw me and came in with Monica. Since you went to great lengths to find out where I am, why hide and put on this pitiful look for whom? Ethan's face was full of anger. Liana, you said yourself you wouldn't covet my fiancé anymore, why are you doing this sneaky following again? Besides, Ethan has always treated you as a sister, how can you have feelings for a brother you grew up with? Monica showed a hurt expression, her voice neither loud nor soft, attracting passers-by to watch and point. I explained to them, no, I didn't follow you, I have business. I really don't like Ethan anymore, I can swear to heaven again. Enough. Ethan stopped me from continuing. But I insisted on explaining clearly. I really don't want to see him. I've tried to avoid places where he is. Believe me. Ethan's anger intensified, gritting his teeth. So, when I return to the old residence and you don't appear, you're really avoiding me. I didn't know how to explain further and fled in panic. I thought I should find a store in an alley, so I could avoid running into them in the future. Returning to the He family at night, everyone was sitting in the living room. Monica had red eyes, adoptive mother held her shoulders, comforting her softly. I was puzzled. I thought you had changed for the better, but in the end, you're still secretly following Ethan and Monica. Adoptive mother asked me with tears. They're about to hold the engagement ceremony, why are you doing this? Do you want to make a scene and let public opinion pressure us? The He family raised you for so many years, do you have to ruin Ethan? It turned out that today's incident was posted online by some busybody, people in the circle saw it and started gossiping. I stood stunned, unable to explain even with mouse all over my body. I really didn't do it on purpose, what do I have to do for you to believe me? I'll post a clarification right away, I found a house. Tomorrow, no, I can move out now. Ethan looked at me in shock, what did you say? You're moving? Who allowed it? I ignored him and went back to the room to pack my things. Ethan tried to pull me to clarify, but was stopped by Monica. That night, I successfully moved out. The following days, I focused on preparing my dessert shop. No matter what, I had to open it. Not for anything else, but for the promise with my prison mate Maple. She was my only friend in prison, when everyone bullied, beat, and insulted me, she secretly helped treat my wounds. She should have been released a month earlier than me. The day before her release, she told me she heard rumors that the prison instructor was making deals with others. Before finishing, she was called out and never returned. The instructor said she died of a sudden illness. We had agreed that once out, we'd open a dessert shop together, because that was her dream. She said, life is so bitter, if surrounded by sweet air, it should be very happy. Soon, adoptive mother called me to go back. Just arriving at the He family, I saw the Wen family's car parked in the yard. I saw the head of the Wen family, Rachel, approaching, followed by her brother Ryan. I was familiar with Ryan, we were almost the same age and didn't get along. If I was the pampered princess of the He family, he was the spoiled second generation of the Wen family. He called me a clingy, I called him unworthy. We grew up quarreling noisily. 3 years ago, he went abroad, and we rarely contacted since. I was puzzled why the Wen family came and why I had to return. Once everyone was seated, I learned the reason. The Wen family brought Ryan to discuss a marriage alliance. I was surprised, my imprisonment was already widely known in the circle, how could a big family like the Wen family choose me? A year ago, his classmate said he suddenly received some news and rushed back to the country. As a result, he had a car accident on the way and became like this. Rachel explained to me. I looked at Ryan, he still recognized me, but his intelligence and memory were stuck at around 10 years old. So that's it. Liana, how did you become so ugly after growing up, so thin? He still had his venomous nature. He can take care of himself, understand what happens to him, the doctor said, unless a miracle happens, this is it. Liana, our family isn't forcing you, we just think since you know each other well. I smiled, the Wen family wouldn't force me, nor would the He family, but I owed them for raising me. However, this was good, at least I could use this to completely sever ties with Ethan. Moreover, Rachel promised that with Ryan, I could do what I wanted freely. Anyway, he occasionally listened to me before. Adult Liana dealing with 10-year-old Ryan was more than enough. You two try getting along for a while, it's not necessary to decide immediately, we'll give you enough time to think. Rachel said. Afterward, Ryan was bored at home, so Rachel used this as an excuse to hand him over to me. I had found my storefront, and with him, we were busy and happy. Although his mind wasn't sharp, his over 1.8-meter height gave him plenty of strength. I asked him to stack the flour, he did it neatly in a few moves, then reached to smear the flour on my face. I pushed him laughing, the two of us tussled. What are you doing? A cold voice came from behind. I turned, it was Ethan. His face was gloomy, eyes full of anger. Liana, tussling with other men, you're really shameless. He grabbed me to leave, but was stopped by Ryan. Where are you taking Liana? She's my fiancée, she said she won't go with you. Hearing Ryan's words, Ethan's face darkened on the spot. He sternly asked me, is what he said true? You're getting engaged to him? I nodded. Isn't this good? No more gossip outside, no one needs to worry about me entangling you. Ethan gritted his teeth. Didn't you say from childhood to now you only like me? How can you marry someone else? Do you really not love me, can let me go? Why was he still testing me? Young Master Ethan, I really don't love you anymore. You don't need to test me repeatedly. It was me who was blind, me who was cheap, me who was deluded, fantasizing about climbing up to you. Hearing my words, Ethan didn't relax, instead, he got angrier. He pinched my shoulders with his hands, shaking me hard. Liana, giving you one last chance, do you still love me or not? I was shaken dizzy. I don't love anymore, really don't, whether swearing by my life or future, I don't love. I've tried my best to avoid you, in the future I'll be more careful. Upon hearing, Ethan increased his force, I felt my shoulders were about to be pierced by his fingers. Let go of Liana. Ryan couldn't pry his hands off, picked up a nearby stool, and smashed it on Ethan's head. Blood streamed from his head to his face, he slowly leaned against the wall, weakly staring at me. I scolded Ryan, saying don't come find me these days, then asked Rachel to send someone to pick him up. After that, I called a car to take Ethan to the hospital. The always unflappable adoptive father darkened his face. Liana, can't you behave? What sin did the He family commit to have to manage a troublemaker like you? Since you came, Ethan hasn't had it easy. Behind him, adoptive mother shook her head and sighed. Monica looked at me with hatred. I took out my phone, the store had surveillance. I pulled up the video from then and showed it to adoptive father. He moved his lips, after a while said, you haven't engaged with the Wen family yet, isn't it because your behavior was improper first? Ethan as a brother disciplining you is appropriate. How do you make us deal with the Wen family like this? Handle it yourselves. He left hastily as if fleeing. When Ethan woke up, he took me to his villa. Ryan has a problem with his mind, he doesn't know severity, the fault is mine. I have nothing left, only one life, if you think it can compensate for the harm you suffered, take it. My heart sank to the bottom, unable to escape the shackles given by the He family, better to die. I can let it go, but you must cancel the marriage with the Wen family, tell Mom and Dad you disagree. What? I couldn't understand Ethan. I can't do that. Then stay here and think it through slowly. Ethan slammed the door shut, I heard the key turning. I was locked up for 2 whole days, no food, no drinking water. Relying on the raw water from the bathroom, I barely survived. Every mealtime, a servant asked at the door, Miss Liana, the young master asks if you've thought it through? The answer was always silence. On the 3rd day, through the window, I saw adoptive mother coming with Monica. I was helped down, seeing I was okay, Monica persuaded adoptive mother to go back first. When Ethan returned, she would convince him to send me home together. After mother left, Monica pretended to help me out for a walk. She deliberately lifted the carpet underfoot, unable to dodge in time, I fell flat on my face. I knew you wouldn't give up, as soon as he heard you're getting engaged, Ethan left me to find you. Playing hard to get, you're quite skilled. But, so what? No one believes you anymore. You can't outplay me. If I really care, there are plenty of ways to kill you. Don't covet my man anymore. In the future, live well with your little fool, don't be an eyesore in front of us. I felt a shadow blocking the sunlight at the door. I opened my eyes. Ethan was right behind Monica, unknown how much he heard. Monica felt my gaze, saw Ethan, and hurriedly bent down. Liana, how are you so careless? Get up quickly. With Ethan's personality hating lies the most, I thought he would scold Monica, at least ask. Unexpectedly, he smiled warmly at Monica. Let's go, we'll send her back to the old residence. In the car, Ethan kept observing my expression through the rearview mirror, but I said nothing. Liana, don't you have anything to say to me? No. I shook my head. He suddenly braked and started getting angry again. If you don't want to say, get out. I watched the car speed away and fainted by the roadside. In a daze, I heard emergency braking. A voice with a cry said, Sis, why is she sick again? My vision was like fog. In the white mist, there were two figures. The girl behind chased the boy in front. Brother Ethan, wait for me. The boy in front turned impatiently, saying disdainful words, but his steps slowed involuntarily. I looked at that familiar face but couldn't remember our relationship, until the figure went farther and disappeared in a blinding light. Someone pulled the little girl's close corner and said, Liana, what are you looking at? Why aren't you looking at me? I came to. In front was Ryan's grown-up face. Liana opened her eyes. She's awake. Rachel came to my bedside, touched my forehead. The fever's gone, she'll be better soon. She held my hand. You and Ryan are getting engaged, we'll be family. If anything happens, tell your sister. No matter what, remember, the Wen family is your backing. Warmth I hadn't felt in a long time, I couldn't help shedding tears. Just about to thank her, she said, do you know why I chose you for Ryan's marriage? I didn't know. With the Wen family's wealth and status, even if he was a murderous madman, many families would stuff their daughters in. She paused, then slowly said, Ryan has liked a girl since childhood. I asked why he didn't pursue. He said the girl has someone in her heart, only that one in her eyes, he has no chance. Later, that girl's family treated her badly, her beloved treated her badly. Ryan was sad every time he saw. I said since you truly like her, find a way to snatch her and cherish her well. He said he's too ordinary, no way to compare with the favored one, the girl won't see him. I advised him, our background is no worse, he can try hard, anyway nothing is set. So, I sent him abroad for further study, promised to help him start his own career when back, make the girl see him differently. Unfortunately, he had an accident, the words he wanted to say were never said to her, don't know if there's a chance in this life. She sighed. Liana, I admit using you to stimulate Ryan to recover, but I also want to help Ryan protect you. The Wen family doesn't mean to trap you by his side forever. If you become strong, then I'll let you leave. If not, the Wen family doesn't mind supporting one more person. I suddenly thought Ryan rushed back exactly when I had the incident. If not mistaken, that news was about me. Rachel is so smart she must have thought of it, but she didn't blame, didn't reproach. Still comforted me gently. I fell into her arms crying bitterly, a peace I'd never felt. Ryan paced anxiously beside. Sis, why is she crying again? His look was comical. I burst into laughter through tears, wiped them. Not crying anymore, future Liana won't cry again. Moreover, future Liana not only has backing, but also people who care and love her. My phone rang, just connected. I heard adoptive mother anxiously ask why I hadn't returned home. Faintly heard Ethan's voice, it's not that I had to throw her out, she insisted on angering me and Monica. Maybe she's already at her rented house. Rachel took my phone, Liana is in the hospital, if you have time, come see. I have something to say to the two elders. If you really don't want her, then she'll be the Wen family's from now on. I was a bit panicked, worried Rachel would fall out with the He family for me. She patted my shoulder soothingly, telling me to relax. Not long after, the He family and Monica arrived at the hospital. They wanted to approach, but Ryan blocked them. Rachel took out a stack of medical reports. Uncle, Aunt, I don't care how you view Liana, but this year, she clearly suffered abuse in prison. You are guardians, have the right to know. But if you don't care, the Wen family will pursue to the end. She lifted my clothes, exposing my wounds to everyone. Bruises on my back, scars crisscrossing, new wounds over old. Where no scars, visible pinholes densely packed. Adoptive mother cried and hugged me, fingertips trembling as she gently touched my skin. My poor child, does it hurt? It's fine, much better already, I'm used to it. I said it lightly now, no one knew how I endured the year. The physical wounds were shown, no need for memory's wounds. After all, they never cared about my life or death. This was a fact I recognized in prison. Why didn't you say, why not tell us? Adoptive mother's crying grew louder. Why? Because the first time I couldn't bear and sought help from home, adoptive father didn't listen and said I deserved it. The He family will investigate this clearly. He was still ridiculously maintaining elder dignity. I've entrusted it to Sister Rachel. Dad, I've let go of the He family and brother. I looked up at father, saw cracks on his always stern face towards me. Beside, Monica's expression was obscure. How could this be? How? I clearly arranged it. Ethan's murmur was abrupt in the suddenly silent ward. Ryan quickly looked at him upon hearing, then shifted to the glass water cup on my bedside. I quickly held his hand, shook my head. He pouted unconvinced. Thank you for coming so late, go back, I want to rest. Without waiting for reaction, I lay facing inside. But didn't let go of Ryan's hand. Ethan looked at the clasped hands, clenched his fists. The Aunt Rachel brought politely asked everyone out softly. I slept the first peaceful sleep in over a year. With two families acting, the truth soon came out. It was Monica who bribed the prison instructor to arrange people to hurt and humiliate me. Maple's death wasn't an accident, she used means. The incident back then was clarified, I didn't intentionally hurt Monica, she threatened servants to perjure. Moreover, her hearing was normal. After exposure, more servants came forward pointing out she framed me repeatedly. How do you manage the house, letting an outsider interfere, threatening over half the servants? Adoptive father's face changed repeatedly, pointed at adoptive mother scolding, finally slumped in the chair dejectedly. Under everyone's eyes, this should be the He family's liveliest drama. I knelt before adoptive parents, solemnly kowtowed. The grace of raising, you can ask me any time, but unless necessary, let's not meet again. I turned to leave, leaving adoptive father's Liana behind. Back to the ward, blocked at the door by the person I least wanted to see. Liana, sorry. I didn't know Monica was so vile, I misunderstood you. Ethan looked guilty. It's fine, go. Liana, I know you're still angry, I'll help you vent. How do you want to punish Monica? I'll return the harm you suffered double to her, okay? 10 times, 100 times, as long as you calm down? I don't need you to avenge me, the law will give a fair judgment, don't come find me anymore. Liana, I'm not leaving, I'm here to beg forgiveness, things aren't as you think. I don't love Monica, I've always loved you. I looked at him incredulously, thinking he was crazy. I chased him for 8 years, he called me cheap, I stopped, he says he loves me. Who is cheap? I didn't know I loved you before, but since you lost freedom, not by my side, I realized I'm used to your presence. That's when I awoke that I care about you. So I arranged, got you a single room, someone to watch specially. I didn't know Monica bribed the person I arranged behind, making you suffer humiliation. The day you came out, I was happy inside. But you didn't give me a glance, said you don't love me. You clearly allergic to alcohol, still chose to drink that glass. You don't depend on me, don't beg me, I was panicked. Later, I actively returned to old residence, but you avoided me repeatedly, and you want marriage with one family. Ryan liked you since childhood, you don't know, I can see. I was nervous, scared, at a loss, you were determined to draw a line with me, that's why I couldn't control emotions. Liana, please, give me a chance, I'll make up all you want. Can we start over? I couldn't help laughing. Ethan, you're interesting, you love me, so sent me to prison, forced me drink wine that could kill, let others frame me, imprisoned my freedom. Your love is terrifying. Yes, as an adult can't control emotions, don't know if can control bowels. Otherwise, the cleaner uncle will suffer. Ryan came out of the ward, bag in hand, glaring at Ethan. I quickly pulled Ryan over. Everything packed? Yes. Let's handle discharge. Ryan reluctantly bypassed Ethan. Liana is my fiancée, don't harass her anymore, or I'll beat you every time I see you. I quickly held Ryan's hand. Ethan, go. You and I have no future. I'm very happy now, the only trouble is your disturbance, please be sensible. Ryan pulled me quickly to the elevator. Stay away from him, this trash man, when loves, even wrongs seem cute dumb, once not, your breathing is wrong. He's sick, I don't argue with brain problem people. Then why did you want to hit him just now? Can't I scare him? Yes. Ryan and I smoothly held the engagement ceremony. Rachel apologized to me, said we don't have to marry, but engagement is needed, when family fiancé identity adds protection, convenient for my career. If Ryan recovers, up to us, if not, when I meet someone to entrust life, then dissolve. Hurry and recover, or your Liana runs with others, cry yourself. Rachel joked with Ryan. Ryan hurriedly proved, I'm already better, now not 10-year-old thinking and IQ. Then how much? 2 years passed, at least 12. Rachel laughed heartily, like childhood rubbed Ryan's hair, slapped away by him. Ungrateful, burn bridge after crossing. My dessert shop opened on schedule, Rachel said she hinted to assistant, future afternoon tea first choice my YF dessert shop. What hint, since she said, my orders never stopped. In just a year, opened over 10 branches, head store area expanded several times. During expansion, I specially partitioned a spot in the store. Custom tables, chairs, equipped computers, various entertainment facilities. Every day, Ryan at his exclusive spot accompanied me to work. Besides Ryan, 2 others appeared often. One is adoptive mother, order a dessert, then chat when I'm not busy. Occasionally, I'd eat a meal with her. Adoptive mother said, this is good. Live peacefully, away from past disturbances. Maybe someday, our family can calmly eat a meal, talk. I smiled, didn't answer. Future days, talk later. Besides adoptive mother, the other frequent is Ethan. He'd order a coffee, sit quietly there. Sometimes sit minutes, sometimes half day. I pass by, he doesn't talk, just sits there, quietly watching. At first, Ryan often put down things, sit opposite, glare. Over time, he ignored too. As long as not disturb me, Ryan like me, treat as non-existent. Thus, time passed 3 years intermittently. Hearing store staff whispering chat, I realized hadn't seen Ethan for long. Thought he finally gave up. Unexpectedly, a week later he appeared at door. This time actively came to me. He seemed much haggard, pale face, lips no color. Liana, I'm sick, very serious, went abroad for treatment recently. I looked at him steadily, waiting to continue. I met a good doctor, specializes in treating various accident after effects. I think Ryan can go treat with him. No other meaning, just feel you accompanying him daily is hard, I really hope he recovers, can. I interrupted. Thanks for kindness, accompanying Ryan may seem hard to you, but to me very willing and happy. Also, Ryan doesn't need other medicine, his medicine is now by his side. I looked at distant dejected Ryan, packed things. We're going home, making seafood porridge for you today. Good. Ryan smiled. Liana, won't you ask what illness I have? Ethan asked softly. I shook head. Anyway, wish you quick recovery. Ryan walked ahead low-spirited. I knew Ethan's words went to his heart. I planned how to comfort, coax him happy later. Also thinking if Ethan's words true, anyway tell Rachel, with her connections and strength, she can find out, no need to owe Ethan favor. Thinking too deeply, I bumped into the back ahead. Ryan turned, angrily, are you starting to disdain me? I quickly explained no. He ignored, walked faster. I chased panicked, at corner, no sight of him. Looking around, saw nearby bushes, chill from feet to head. Ryan fainted on ground. I cried loudly calling, came to hospital with ambulance. All checks done, doctor said no abnormality. But he just wouldn't wake. I held his hand by bed, cried whole night. At dawn, heard voice above. Looks like cried long. Sigh, my medicine soaked in water, don't know if still usable. I can only work hard later, make her not soak anymore. I widened eyes, looking at Ryan on bed. His smile now like before abroad. Liana, wait for me back. Liana, I'm back. Ryan opened arms to me, two voices overlapped. I pounced, hugged him tightly. Liana finally waited for Ryan.